kind of a different one. I think the only thing that's even more obscure is Access. Anybody ever hear of Microsoft Access? It's the database, and at one time it was a very important database. I don't know how many people are using it anymore. I certainly don't even have a nodding acquaintance with Access. So, and I don't know if anybody, even in the school district, really uses Access. But anyhow, just trying to kill a little time. And we're just about to that magic hour. It is 10:30, and good morning again. Just to repeat myself, this is an introduction to Excel. Quite frankly, it may not, excuse me, take the entire hour. And if it doesn't take the entire hour, don't worry, you are getting 1 hour's worth of credit. And again, if you have questions and concerns that I can answer, I am more than happy to do that. So, whatever. Microsoft Excel. Now, again, when you go to Office Online, okay, Office 365, yes, you do have an Excel there. And I'm just going to go here real quickly, but to make a point. So you'll find that it is almost the same as what we call the client or installed version. Quite frankly, for some reason, even though it's pretty close, I do prefer working in what I call the client version. And again, that's the one you get when you install Office 365 on your home computer, or it should be on your laptop already. What is a spreadsheet? A spreadsheet is just a sheet that will allow you to manipulate data, change data, so forth and so on. The story I heard of how it got started was many years ago, and I actually taught the first spreadsheet that ever came out, which was probably, oh my goodness, in the 80s, was that there were two college students. I don't remember if it was MIT, but it was a pretty ranking school. One of the college students was a business major, and the other was a computer major at the time. And one night, the business major was sitting there working on a spreadsheet, and he had made a mistake, and he said, "Oh God, now I got to go back and readjust all of the figures, because of the one mistake." And that's where the idea came from. I guess they started talking about it, and the computer guy said, "Let's see if we can't come up with something that will allow you to make a mistake. If I change the mistake, it'll correct all the other additions, formulas, calculations." And that's what Excel is. It's really a little program for that. Got two of them for you. This is the first one. Now, the first question somebody always asks is, how big is this spreadsheet? Now, each one of these little square, rectangular things right there, see these, is called a cell. And I did not count them. I looked it up. According to what I saw, there were 17,169,869,189 cells on this sheet. I have never heard of anybody. It's kind of like getting to the bottom of that would be like getting to the bottom of the getting to the end of the internet or something like that. I have no idea. I've never tried. It says that if you went across columns, these are the columns, A, B, C through Z, and then A, B, let's just show you A, C, okay. See how it goes, A, B? Well, I don't know what it goes to, but it goes over about 1,048,000 and some columns. And of course it goes down 16,000 rows. So I think there's plenty of space. Now, let me just show you a few of the quick little things that you may know already, but if you don't, they'll be useful. Okay, so first of all, let me get back. Notice I'm not at the beginning of my spreadsheet. I'm in B. There's a column A over here, and quite often when you're in a column over here, you want to be home, or you want to see the beginning of the spreadsheet. To get back to home, where A1 is right there, and this is maybe something you're going to have to look down at your keyboard and find. Hold down the Control key and tap the Home button. The Home button? Yeah, there's one there. And you'll get back to home. That it's kind of weird. I'll be honest with you. When I first saw that the other day, I went home and I had to go looking for it. No, I've forgotten there was a home button on the keyboard. Now, just to show you something, I wrote the word word there. Notice that it is left justified. I wrote a number 90. Notice it's right justified. Okay. There are kind of three basic things we can put in these cells. Number one, we can put, sometimes they're called words, titles, things like that. Okay. These are items that are not manipulated. They tell what something is. Okay. The second thing you can put in is a value or a number. And the third thing is you can put a formula in, right? See, there's a formula right there up here that will give you a result. Okay? And we'll get to formulas in just a minute. So we can do also, and with that you can do an awful lot. Now, just to give you a couple of heads up too, if you're trying to make something like a schedule or something, and you can do this, by the way, very easily. Notice this says Monday. What if I want to put the days of the week down here? That would be an awful lot of typing. You do not have to do that in Microsoft Excel. It has some built-in shortcuts, I guess. Notice that when I click on that cell, on the lower right-hand corner is a little square. If I put my mouse on it, it should become a plus, a cross. And if I drag it down, I'm just going to drag it down a ways, you'll see that it becomes Monday through Sunday. Now, you'll say, well, that's good, but wow, how do you break up those weeks? Well, if I wanted to, right there is the end of one week, the beginning of another. If you ever need to, right-clicking on something is a real good thing. And notice, this is kind of a weird thing. It says insert, but it will insert a row above the one that you're on. Okay? So you can do that. Now, you'll know that if I do January, go to the cross. Pull it down. I don't know if that, I just got to October. December. Pretty easy. Now, numbers are just a tiny bit different, but they're not bad. 1, if I did 1 and I pull that down, I get 1, 1, 1. Oh boy, that's not what I wanted. I'm going to back out of that because I wanted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so here's what you do if you want to do that. You put a little 2 there. Okay, now I have 1, 2. Now, instead of highlighting that one, highlight both cells. Hold the mouse down and cover both of them. Notice now you still get your little square down there. And it sees the difference between 1 and 2 is 1, so it will do by ones. Now, if I were to put, let's put a 3 in there. And you can probably guess what's going to happen. Okay? So those are just a few of the things you can do. Okay, numbers can be put into a cell in different ways. All right. Notice right now, those look really nice, rounded off. But let's go down here. By clicking at the top of a row or in a column, what you're saying is, I want to change everything in this particular row. I'm going to right click and I want to format the cells. And do I want a number? Okay. Now I can, if I want commas, notice I had commas up in that number of cells thing. I can put a comma here. How many decimal places do I want it to go out to? Okay. All right. So you can do that. If you're ever dealing with like a budget, you can format the cells. Instead of number, click on currency. No, we don't want 6 places. 2 would be enough for cents. And we have currency there. So those are just a few of the little things that you want to do. One other one, you'll see this in a little bit. If you go to print something, sometimes, you need some separation here. They don't look right if they're not separated by it. Notice up here those little borders. To do a border, just select the items that you want. Up here near the font is a border thing, and you can select the border from, all right, I'm just going to click all borders, and there it is. Okay, so you can do the borders too. Now, printing is going to be a little issue, and when we get to that, I'll go into that. Now, when you open an Excel file, usually down at the bottom, it will say Sheet 1. This is a little bit of a change because before you used to get 3 sheets. For some reason, they give you one. Some versions now will only give you 1 sheet. But you can add sheets as you go along just by clicking here. Notice now it's sheet 2. If I want, I can drag that one over here, okay? And I can right click on it, rename it. Okay, so you can. Maybe you want to have some information on each one of your students. That could be an interesting way, grades and so forth and so on. You could do that. You could have each one of your students, have a sheet for each one of your students, and that might be a way of saving some data. Now, let's take a look. I realize we have, PowerSchool, and we don't have to work on grades and averages and so forth. I remember way back, oh my golly, I go back to the hand calculator. Okay, thinking that was the greatest advance in science in a million billion years. I remember buying my first one, the little hand calculator that added, subtracted, multiplied, and divided, cost $50. And I thought, boy, that was a great buy, because I could, then I'll punch in all my marks, divide by, and I would get averages. It was really easy. And I took it to school. The first day I got it, I took it to school, and there was a lady there who asked me about, she said, oh, you got one of those too. I had one. I bought it last year. And she said, I paid $100 for it. And I said, oh, I paid $50. And this kind of gives you an idea of, the declining prices in technology and the way things have been going now. They're given away free. But anyhow, Excel is kind of like a visual spreadsheet calculator too. I put a whole bunch of stuff on here that I'll show you what I mean and how I did it. But just to get started, I created like a little spreadsheet with names and numbers and assignments. Notice, first of all, the names are left justified, the marks are right justified. That does not have to be, okay? You can go over here and center them, and it looks a lot better. Okay? But for now, I'm going to just back that off because I want to show you something. Now, one of the big, how shall I put it, disadvantages to Excel is printing. You can create these things, but how do you get them to print out properly? Notice, I think you can see this. See that little dotted line going down there? That's what will fit on the first sheet of paper. Also, when you print spreadsheets, you should do this. You should tell the computer, the program, what you want printed. What I'm going to do is just highlight this now. This is my print area, or area I want printed. I go to page layout, and notice over here in this one there is a thing called print area, and I just hit print area. Notice now that little dotted line comes down to here, which means that if I go to, let's take a look, File, Print. First of all, those marks look awful screwy, and secondly, I got a second sheet of paper. Okay, let's see what we can do to fix that. Well, first of all, as I told you before, if I center justify everything, it will help that one problem. That looks a lot better there. However, we're still not getting that page, part of the page. How can you do it? Well, you can do it by adjusting the size or width of the columns. All right, because we know the whole page will fit, all the rows will fit on. So what you can do is you can start doing this, okay, and do that. And you'll notice this is moved over a little bit, and I don't think I'm going to be able to do it, to be honest with you, because I want that whole test whatever to show. You'll see I'm moving over a little bit, but now homework 2, I could rename it maybe. Okay, and also I could put students passing and failing here, and then bring that over, and I might make, but you may have to mess around with it. Okay, now, what can I do with this thing now that I got it? How do I figure out averages, so forth and so on? And this is a very, very brief general introduction into formulas, okay? This thing, let's put it this way, an Excel spreadsheet is like a, I don't know, 747, what do they have now, 787s, the top of the line aircraft. And most of us need, what shall we say, Piper Cubs? Yeah, we don't need all of these things. And learning just the basics is what we're doing. So basically, I'm going to show you a couple of the things. And if you need others, there are many, many others, okay? Now, first of all, one key rule to remember is when you want to do a formula or have a calculation done, you need to start off with an equal sign, okay? That is telling the cell that you're going to be calculating something there. Now, what if we wanted to figure out the average here? Well, equal AVE. Notice I could type in the word average, but I notice now it tries to anticipate what you're looking for, and it found average. So I can click on that real hard, and then it opens a bracket. The bracket is asking me what is the area, or which numbers or cells do you want me to average, and I can do this. Okay, I'm going to hit enter, and don't worry about that pass-fail, by the way. We'll get to that in a minute. Ooh, that's pretty cool. Anyhow, wow, 88. All right. Do you see that? Now remember from before that little dot at the bottom, this is where gets even better. I don't want to go in and have to type out equal average C or B3, G3, B4, G. No, I would have to type in that formula 10 times. That's a pain. So what I'm going to do, go over here, little cross, remember that cross? Pull this down, wham, those are averages. Now, you'll notice, just to notice, if you look up at the top, there's B10. It automatically changes. Okay, that's pretty good. Now, I don't need all of those rounding. I need to round that off a little bit, don't I? So I can click on this, right click. Remember we formatted the cells before? We can go to the number and 2 decimal places. I think that'll do it. There we go. That's a little bit better, isn't it? Okay. Okay. Now, what if I want to say, hey, how many points did he score? That's kind of dumb, but just to let you know, this is an average right here. We can go up here and put average. Okay. What if I want to tell him, how many points did I score? Well, we don't have a column here to put that in, but we can do that. Again, just the way, remember how we went here and then we right-clicked and hit insert? Well, go here, right-click and insert, and it'll add a column to the left. Notice it did not change any of the data, okay? All right. It took that into account too. Number, okay, points. And it's just to show you another formula. Okay, now, remember this is a formula, it's a calculation, so I'm going to put in the word equal. I'm going to type sum. Oh, there, it pops up sum. And I like doing this because when I do this, it opens that bracket. So all I can do, I can type in B2, G2, but I can just go over and highlight it. Makes it so much simpler. Don't forget to close the bracket. And he scored 529 points. Now, if you want to figure that out, again, drag this down, and you can see each score or each number of points. Okay, who scored the most points, I guess? Well, that would be the highest average, but it's also points. Now, just to show you a couple more formulas, there are lots of them, okay? And you can do it in lots of different ways. Over here, if you want to know what the high and low mark was on the score, well, no, you could, if you wanted to know what the average mark was, okay, right here, I'm sorry, I'm one ahead of myself, equal AVE, okay. And now if we do this and close it off, you'll see that the average score was 81 on that particular one. What if you want to know the high mark? Equal MAX. I know I looked it up. You know, you're going to say, I don't remember all the equal max. No, I guess I can't click it now. So I'm going to have to do it. I'm going to have to open a bracket, highlight my data, close it, and I hope you showed me that the highest mark on that was 100. Now, what do you think the lowest mark was? Well, equal MI. Oh, there's minimum. I'm gonna do it the easy way, and then just pull this down. Oops. I'm gonna close it. Okay. If you want to do that. Now, and again, if you wanted, you could just pull that across. Okay. That's the average on each. Well, average, then that's the average number of points. A lot of information you can get that way. Now, over here, we have a lot of kids failing and a few kids passing. How did I figure out how, just to show you again, a little bit more difficult formulas, okay? Now, here is the formula for figuring out if they passed. And I changed it, okay? It's called if-then statement. If something is equal or higher than 85, they passed. Otherwise, they failed. So the wording is very simple. If, okay, I don't want to copy that. I'm gonna, because it's saying, hey, if. Now, I have to, okay, what did I do wrong? I know what I did wrong. It's not going to work. Equal. It's going to do a calculation. If, now, it will help me to do this. Now, it's a logical test. Value if true, value if false, see? Okay, if the average, let's try the average right here, is greater than or equal to 80. We'll change it, make it a little easier. We need a comma to separate the values. Then, this is what I want typed in, and I put it in quotation marks. Pass. You don't have to put if, then, or if not. This means if not, open another one, fail. And again, close our bracket. Hopefully that'll work. Uh-oh, found a typo. Okay. Sometime it'll help you. I don't know what I did. I must have typed something in a little incorrectly there. And you'll notice that many times Excel will help you correct it. Notice that now, here's pass. Why do I have pass there? Because I have, notice over here in my formula, it says I2. Well, I2, okay. Oh, I should put a J in there. Notice that this was I3. I'm sorry, I3. Because I'm going to change that. All right. I was looking at this block, I3. Now, it says if I3 is equal to an 80, well, he still failed. Oh, dear. And again, when I'm lazy, I'm going to pull those down. Now we got a few more passing, and they did get the 80. See that? This is, again, a way of showing that you can manipulate all of those things. All right? Pretty easy once you catch on. The formulas are a little more difficult. There is a handout, and I'll post it when we post the videos. A handout called Excel QS. It's actually, they call it a cheat sheet, and I'm going to show you where you can learn a little bit more in a minute. Did I do this? Okay, hang on one second. I got to get ready for the final thing here. This is something you can use. Oh, hang on. Okay, there you are. Now, what if, and this is one of the nice things about, let me get this other, what if you were to send out periodically mailings to your parents, and you're going to have, let's say you're going to have a parent-teacher conference, and these parents have all signed up for a conference. You want to send a letter to each one of them telling them the conference, date, and so forth, and time, but you don't want to do each one of those separately. Very simply, you can do this, Okay. First of all, let me show you what this is. This is another spreadsheet, and what I did is I did a spreadsheet and I put in name, last name, title, parent name, the address. I recommend you do that, for your students. Then you'll have that. You can do what we call mail merges all the time. You can make labels, you can do the certificates we told you about, you can do letters. Works out real easily. And having done that, I think I have to end this for a second, okay? Okay, because it has to be closed to use in what I'm going to do. I am going to open an email that I created. I hope. Where is it? You can always create it, but it was. It says it's running. There it is. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have a letter here. It says, Dear, thank you for requesting a parent-teacher conference. I should have teacher capitalized. I will be glad to speak to you regarding your son, daughter, on February 31st, 2020 at time, if you have any questions. Okay, just a quick little letter. How do we create this so that it can be sent to every parent without a whole lot of trouble? And again, we told you before, this is called mailings, and it's called a mail merge. And now I remember it says Start Mail Merge Wizard real quickly. Okay, and if we do that, we're going to be working on type of document. This is a little different. Letters. Oh yeah, I'm going to work on a letter. Starting document. Use the current document. Yeah, sure. Select recipients. Now, I may have to go up here and click on Browse. I want to find the database. I'll get that little weird thing. I know it's in my desktop. It's called email something, or names for email merge. I know that. And I open it up. I hope that's the one. Oh, you know what? I don't want that one. I'm going to browse again. I screwed up. It's here. And I want the parent information sheet. And it shows me that sheet that I showed you before. And I hit OK. Now, write your letter. Now, here's the key right here. I'm ready to do the letter. I got it written. This is the key right here, more items. It will pop up the titles that you put across the top. Okay, I want the parent name. Okay, let's see, parent name. Where is it going to insert? Okay, I want the first name. I want the parent's last name. Okay, now here's the one thing that you need to do. Close it, go to a new line, enter. Now I want more items. I want the address, insert, and I'm going to close it, go to a new line, more items, city, insert, state, insert, zip, insert. Okay, I want to send it, and close. Now, if I want to be sure I do it right, I could go up here and put some spaces in. I want to put a comma there and a space. Oh, I forgot to put the city there, notice? I missed it. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to add the city. Okay, no sweat. Oh, I have state then city, don't I? Oop, screwed it up. See how easy it is to fix, though, when you're more items. Now I need the state. Insert. Oh, I think we have it right. Close this. Go in here. Now I'm going to put a comma, space. Put a couple of spaces here. Okay, dear. Okay, what I want is the person's title. Insert. And the parent last name. Okay. All right. Now, thank you for requesting. I was glad to I was glad to speak with you regarding. Oh, right. Oh, I want to close this. Now I'll go over here regarding who? Well, I got to put the student's name in there. More items. I'm just going to put first name in. And I'll hit close, leave a space, and hit more items, or hit appointment time. Hit insert. Now, at the end, I probably want a period. And there may be a few little things that I need to go back, but I can go back and fix it. But let's see what I have here now. Okay, preview your letters. Oh, look at that. Larry Jones, dear Mr. Jones. I forgot to put a comma there. I'm going to have to go back and put that comma in, or colon if you want. I would love to speak with you regarding Larry. Okay. I know what I did. Okay. But again, we can go there. Okay, you can see each one of these is ready to be printed, okay? And if you make a little mistake, like street, you can go back and fix it. Now, what you can do is finish this. If you want to print documents, you would go to print. If you want to print them all, you would just hit OK. And there, and it would print them. If I wanted to, I could now, I think this will work. Yeah, now see, that's just going to print one. Okay, and if you run into that problem, that does happen, it'll only print the one that you're seeing. You can do the finish and print up here. All right. That is a very useful thing. We talked about using the Excel file with Publisher before. You can use it with Word, and it's a very easy thing. Also, labels. It's really easy making labels with either Word or Publisher. My daughter and I have a little disagreement on that one because I always use Publisher and she always says it's easier to use Word. But that's totally up to you. But again, this is how you can at least get an idea, a little bit of an idea of how to use Microsoft Excel. And I don't know if there are any questions. I've been talking a lot. And if there are, either raise a hand or send it out. If not, what we're going to do is we have about 15 to 20 minutes left. I am going to ask you that sometime in the next day or two, you go onto your computer, open up Excel, play around with it a little bit. Maybe when you do get your students, and this is, I'm going to have to look into this, for your classes, sometimes you can download those students in an Excel file or a file that says CSV, which is an Excel file. It's a little special file. Does mail merge only work uploading from Excel? Or I believe I'm going to have to answer. Does she want? Sarah, thank you. Does mail merge only work with Excel, or can you upload a list from Word? I am not sure it would work with Word because they have to be separated. I was just talking a minute ago something about CSV. Excel files can be with comma separated value. Okay, and that means between each item, like the name and the address, there's a comma. And if it doesn't see that, it doesn't say, oh, put it in the next cell. So I'm thinking it might not work with Word, but what you might do, Sarah, is if you have a list, say you have a list of students in Word, just a list, try copying it and pasting it into an Excel file. That might work. And I think that would work. You know what? I'm going to try Word, but I don't think it's going to work. But if it does, I'll let you know. Okay? Are there any other questions then? Okay, then, and again, I hope you don't mind. Like I say, I could sit here and bore you to death, or I could talk about things that are probably of absolutely no use. I mean, we could go over all these formatting tables, and I mean, this thing is an amazing thing. Uh, oh, one thing I did forget. It'll only take a minute. Where is it? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there is a website that I recommend very highly, and I'm going to put the address online in a day or two. But if you see it, it's support.office.com. I know it's rather large. EN-US Office-Training-Center. It is the Office Training Center, and it has training for all of the products. And, you can select one, and it will have all these little short lessons on Intro to Excel. I think they're a couple of minutes each. Okay. Oh dear. Can I do something real quick? I forgot something that is incredibly, completely cool. Okay? Oh, I am so sorry. Take 2 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, one thing that you can do. Let's see, this is, let's see, let's highlight this right here. No, we don't want that. We just want them and their marks. Okay? All right. Now, insert. Look at this, graphs. Recommended graph. This is kind of weird. I'm going to take this one for right now. Hit OK. Look at this. Here is a graph. It shows what they've received on each one. Okay? Why? If you don't like this one, you can. I'm going to Control X and get rid of it. Do an insert. Do a. I think there's this. Oh, this is the one. Graphs here. Okay. And this is kind of, all right, let me make it a little bit bigger. You can actually get graphs. Why is it, okay. Why is this running 5? Oh, I included the total points in. Oops. Okay, I should delete that one right away. But again, I don't want the points, I just want the marks. Okay, do that, insert. These things, it does graphs, real great graphs. I want this one, I wanted this one. Okay, now what's really cool about this, all right, we have them colored. You can go in and recolor them if you want. This little guy is a sorter. You can select anyone by name, okay, or, and so forth and so on. You can do all sorts of things with these charts, so take a look at that as well, all right? And with that, are there any other questions? I'm sorry, I forgot that one. And this might be good with kids if they, had data. They could highlight the data, insert, graph, and play with the graphs. Okay, and again, I apologize for forgetting that. That's an important part of Excel that might be able to be used. And with that, if there are no other questions, I hope everybody has a great weekend. And if you do have any questions, send me an email, send Roger an email. We'd be very, very glad to help you out. And with that, I'm going to say goodbye and have a good weekend. Take a look at Excel for about 15 minutes, and I think you'll decide one of two things. Either, hey, it's very useful to me, or I know a little bit about it, but I really don't need it. And that's totally up to you, That's kind of yours. So with that, we'll say goodbye. Take care.